Hey, it is the off. The right lyrics there, please. But let's bring it down. We'll bring that back up for closing music. Hey, I'm Mark Sweetman. I'm the host of the Off Night. This is episode 173. We've been doing this since April of 2020. So, what can I say? We're in our fourth year. How about that? It's old comics, but new comics too. It just seems that most of our regulars are, old guys that have time on their hands and or can broadcast from a car, and so that's how we get our crew. Let me bring everybody out here. I did it tonight so that I can bring them all out at once. Check this out. Yay!
Wow!
How about that?
Andy!
I made it. Sorry. I was
It's all right.
dropping off somebody. Hey, welcome to the off night, everybody. Okay,
I
anyway.
did it. Already did that, Andy. We're already done.
All right. Sorry.
That's okay.
I was running. I had a guy in the back. He was playing all the hip hop in the world. So.
Oh, you can't shut that down?
Can't. Not with him. No. I don't want to disturb him. I want him to let him go. You know, it's 4 or 5 lines repeated over and over again. So that's okay. Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, we got Susan here. And
cool. The poem.
Let's get right. Let us, please.
In a
we'll get
different
right
room.
to the poem.
Busy day, short poem. If you want to hear it, I'll just get right to it, and then you guys can get on with your show. Here we go.
Yeah.
8 candidates
Thank you, Susan.
at the Republican presidential debate. Meanwhile, Trump was booked in Georgia. Ain't that great? Prigozhin's DNA now confirms he is dead. His plane shot down is allegedly on Putin's head. India landed a spacecraft on the moon's south pole. Will they find ice water? There you go. There's your poem.
All right. Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Let me see if I can get everybody back on here like we had it before. There we go. Okay.
Wow.
I hear India.
But I'm gonna log off.
All right. Have a good
Thank
night.
you, Susan.
Have a good day.
See you later.
I hear India put their spaceship on there, but they had an advertisement for 7-Eleven on the back side. You know.
Yeah. All right.
I'm sure that was a funny joke.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Was it? Well, I just can't hear. So
Okay.
until I get my
You can't hear
headset.
me? Oh, can't hear any of us?
No, it's the speaker on the iPad, and I don't have a adapter to plug it into the only outlet. I guess I should get a wireless one or a Bluetooth one or something.
Got it.
But anyway, so and what do we need to do to save the world today? Let's get
Wait,
right to
first
it.
off, let's acknowledge that there's 2 deaths that are very important. One was, of course, Bob Barker.
Yes.
Yep.
And the other one was, of course, the Mr. Apocalypse Now passed away.
Prigozhin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you did see his last text, didn't you? Or his last tweet, didn't you?
Who's Mr. Apocalypse Now?
Prigozhin, the guy who was running the coup, or tried to run the coup against. Putin.
No, Apocalypse Now, movie director.
Oh,
Which character?
Francis Ford Coppola.
Francis Ford Coppola passed away.
Oh, did he
You're
really?
kidding
I
me.
had not heard that. No, I didn't.
No, it was on the news.
Well, I missed
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
So he
wow.
passed away.
What a bummer.
I'm surprised you didn't hear it. It did happen.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure. Maybe. I hope it wasn't a hoax.
That's a big enough name. That's a big enough name that you should have heard that. That's for sure.
He and William Friedkin together, and in development hell or heaven, which might, for either one. Wow. That's because we lost
Yeah.
Friedkin last week.
Yeah.
And
It was
Well, I'm
all
sure
pretty.
I just got to think the Bob Barker jokes are going to be much better than the Francis Ford Coppola jokes.
I was saying, probably, yeah. He had
one he was seen more, and so people and the phrases that were from his show were used over and over again, whereas Coppola's are more associated with the actors who delivered the line.
Yeah. So now it's even more important to watch the show on the one about the making of The Godfather.
Yes, very important that we all see that. Yes, I think Sam's the only one that hasn't seen. Have you seen that, Wes?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Oh man,
no. I know.
I think it's
fantastic.
I think it's on free Paramount Plus now. Last year it was on paid Paramount Plus. This year it's on free Paramount Plus. So
what is it called? What is it?
It's called The Offer. It's the story.
Okay.
It's an 8-episode series on like a mini series on the making of The Godfather. Watch The Godfather. Watch The Godfather. You don't need to even see Godfather 2. It's just The Godfather, and then watch that series. It's quite compelling. It's a good story.
Well, you know the whole story about Francis Ford Coppola and Patton and how he got the job for. Yeah, right.
Did you guys ever see the one that got an Academy Award nominated? That was Bryan Cranston. Was it Bryan Cranston? Somebody played. But it was the making of. It was the making of Citizen Kane. I think it was called Mank.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Mank. I have seen that.
Yes.
No, it wasn't Bryan Cranston. It was the British guy, the British actor. Oh no, you were talking about the other one where not Mink.
Liam Neeson?
It was the one
Cranston was Trumbo. I remember now.
Yeah. Trumbo. Cranston's Trumbo.
Yeah, who was blacklisted during the McCarthy era. No, but the other one was Mank, and that was the one that got nominated, I think. Maybe they both did.
And that has Christopher
not Gary, is it Gary Oldman?
Gary Oldman, there you go. Gary Oldman.
That was a great movie. That was a great movie.
Pretty good, yeah, definitely good. Always had a good cast in there. It was really black and white. He did a good job with it too. It was really good.
That was good. We should do a old white guys watching movies. We should just do
off night,
or even make it a segment on this show. Old white guys watching movies.
Right.
I give it 3 beards.
Yeah. I can't remember what I give it. Anyway, so.
Yeah, I can't remember what I gave it.
I can't remember what I gave it. Hey.
Or if it was really bad, you could say, "I'll tell you what I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it a."
Tonight we'll be watching the Devil and Miss Jones, a Marilyn Chambers classic, certainly a staple of the 1970s. Dear.
Jason, everybody's heard of that film. You're probably the only one that's seen it, though.
Well, and not only that, actually has lines memorized, can tell you about the blocking and various lighting and technical effects and.
You know a little bit too much about that.
Yeah.
My mother used to say that too, and it's like, well, Ma, what can I say? You're the one bought me the ticket to the damn thing, so I mean, it's just not a movie you want to go to with your mom. That's for damn sure. It's like I can't eat my popcorn, Mom. You want this? So good show. Shame we had no audience last night. Wes, you did a great job.
Yeah, that was a good job.
Nice job, Wes. Very nice.
I hope the little one-liners that I came up before when I was introducing you guys was all right because
your little zingers were fantastic, dude. They were right.
I wrote all that shit the night before, so
the Lisa line slayed me.
Yeah.
Oh.
The daughter I'm glad I never had.
Daughter I never wanted.
Yeah, I never had.
Yeah, you're the daughter I never wanted. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and I love calling her Whitmore Lake Barbie.
Yeah.
Yes, that. she didn't mind. I talked to her about it. I mean, I don't mean to go after people in a real hard, vicious
she
kind of
loved
way.
She wanted to be roasted. So that's why I did a little extra on that.
You know, Joe the animal can get a little sensitive about stuff, and it's like, Joe, come on, roll with the punches. You know,
that's why that's why I didn't really do anything for Joe, because I didn't want to tip him over the edge. You know, so
I can't talk to Joe without wanting to go into Don Rickles. I mean, he was talking to me last night about this gig that he got. And all right, he did well and everything. And I'm like, what? Right. You want a cookie? You want a cookie?
Right. Yeah.
What gig did he get? What was it like?
He's got I guess it was a magician friend who called him up and said, do you know anybody that can do 15 minutes of comedy? He goes, yeah, I can. And he goes, get over here. So I got $50 and did 15 minutes. And Joe's got 15 minutes. You know what I mean? Yeah. If he's got an audience, I've seen him at the Castle. You know, when he's got a regular audience, I mean, he can make people laugh for 15 minutes.
The last time at the Castle, he did really good.
Yes.
We were both there. Andy, you were there too, and
I was there.
Wes, you were in jail.
And he's been there. He's been there one other time and did really well too. So,
and by the way, I've been aggressively trying to get back on an Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase, which, as we all know, can be a little clicky.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
No, you keep signing up, and you hope one day they let you on.
Yeah,
and then when they let you on, you do your best. You do your best 5 minutes. I'm trying to get some. I mean, much as I love the rant, I could do that rant for 20 minutes. I mean, it could turn into like Led Zeppelin song remains the same. You know,
I swear to God, Jason, you can do that shit in one breath. It sounds like. Do you ever come
breathing.
up for air?
You know, you're not the first man to ask me that question.
That's amazing.
And the answer is, it's a. You know, and there's, I always change it up just a little bit and this and that, but I also need just to get, because no one's ever going to book me on the strength of that rant. And I honestly would like to get the rest of my comedy up to a point where someone just might maybe think about booking me somewhere again. I mean, I've had a couple of gigs, kind of like a couple more.
Some more, maybe some more straightforward jokes or something in there, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm working on. You know, Mark, are you muted, Mark?
By the way, Mark, I actually signed up for that one of those classes at the
Detroit Comedy Festival.
Downtown there. Yeah.
Good for you.
To be a better MC or something like that. I forget. What
Mike. That's Mike Green's. That's Mike Green's seminar.
Oh,
you should.
Why does that name sound familiar?
He's Mike Green. He's an old school Comedy Castle act from the old days. I mean, he's one of the guys that broke out of the Comedy Castle.
He also has a club out there called Last Stand or something like that.
One Night Stands.
Okay.
There's a guy named Stan that owns it. Mike books
his club.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that's somebody you should know.
So what do we got to do to get Kirkland Teeple back from beyond the grave?
We don't need that. Kirkland was not a good guy.
Yeah, again, you guys knew him. I didn't. I just heard stories.
And that's coming from a guy who gives. And that's coming from a guy who gives comics a lot of slack.
Yeah. So
gives comics what?
A lot of slack.
A lot of slack.
Oh, I do.
That's what Mark was saying before.
I do give comics a lot of slack, but Kirkland Teeples, it was horrible because he was a comic and he wasn't a bad comic, but no matter what you did or how well you did and everything, he told you how much better he was than you were.
Yeah.
Now, did he found the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase, or were there people behind him? Was that his baby?
Kirkland Teeples got the Heidelberg to give him their upper room.
Yes.
And he created the Main Street Comedy Showcase that became the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase.
Okay.
When they moved it from Main Street over to, well, they called it Main Street for a while when they're at Save a restaurant over on Liberty.
Yeah. It was
When they finally changed the name, I think when Claudia bought it, they changed the name to Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. I think it was all Kirkland. And Roger is Kirkland's brother-in-law. Roger married Kirkland's sister.
Wow.
And so that's what that connection is. And they had another guy that was there. Carl was the bartender there. But really, not just the bartender, he kind of ran the whole showroom from behind the bar. So all the staff was under him and everything. And Roger was pretty much the doorman and the comedy talent because Kirkland was a touring comic. So even though his name brought some of the headliners in, and they got some people there that they would never been able to afford if they were going out through agencies. Kirkland would say, if I work your club, you'll work my club. So a lot of people who got at his room were people that also had rooms that Kirkland could work at.
Yeah.
Well, does Ridley work like that, or does he book through agencies?
Ridley books his own. Ridley is, look, of the people that were booking back in 1979, Ridley and Chris DePetta and that's it. I can't think of anyone else that's still alive of all those people that booked their own rooms without going to Hollywood agencies.
Oh.
They had
Yoder always went to Hollywood agencies?
They were giving, before anybody said Jerry Seinfeld's a headliner, Elaine Boozler's a headliner, Gilbert Gottfried's a headliner. They were giving them headlining gigs. He's got Chris DePetta and Sharapa from Pittsburgh and the Hanson brothers in Minneapolis. They're gone now. All these people are gone except for Ridley and Chris DePetta from Atlanta. The Punchline in Atlanta was Chris DePetta. He's still around, but he's not booking clubs anymore. He is what's his name's agent? The guy that did Molly and Mike. What's that name? The big guy. Yeah,
I know. He's not a big guy anymore. He's actually very skinny now.
Yeah, he's skinny now, but you know who I'm talking about, right? Molly and Mike on CBS. Yeah. Anyway, he's executive producer on that, and it doesn't even take executive producer to make $1 million. Mark Brazil, who I know from California, although he's from Buffalo originally, he was the creator of that 70s show.
Gardelli?
Didn't get what's that?
Okay, go on.
His last name Gardelli?
He didn't get full credit in the credits. He didn't he wasn't the lead executive producer and all that because they hired Marcy Carsey, which was the Cosby people, to develop that show for what was it? NBC?
Fox.
No, ABC. Fox. That was on Fox. Anyways, but he's the guy that actually came up with the premise and sold it to these people and was brought on the show. He thought he was going to have himself a part in it. No, we're going to go this direction. All right, I don't care as long as I get paid. As long as I get paid, the guy's retired off of it a gazillion times over.
Yeah, I mean network money. It's probably not the same thing it used to. You know what's funny though is like in terms of streaming services, shows like Seinfeld, Friends, all these shows that were staples in the 90s stream all the time. Then they're getting paid big money for that. I mean, their numbers are good on the streaming platforms.
Yeah, well, the people to thank for that are Tim Allen, Roseanne Barr, and people that finally took over ownership of their material.
Really?
Yeah, because that wasn't. And everybody since then can thank him. What's his name? Hasn't had that many shows, but he's doing well. Foxworthy, Jeff Foxworthy.
Yeah.
And all those Grace Under Fire, can't think of it, or Brett Butler.
Yeah.
All those people, when they took their character, their act, their persona, and built a show around it, back when it was, the only guy that did well off of that before was Carl Reiner, because the Dick Van Dyke Show was basically about him. He put Dick Van Dyke in his role. Right. That was the Dick Van Dyke Show. That was Carl Reiner's show.
Who was the Yeah, on that show, the Dick Van Dyke Show, Dick was writing for a big comedian. Was that supposed to be Milton Berle, or was it someone else?
Well, he was on your show of shows.
I think it was Sid Caesar. I think Carl Reiner, who played the Miss Alan Brady, was supposed to be Sid Caesar, I think, or a Sid Caesar type of show.
Well, Carl Reiner also wrote for Sid Caesar too.
Yes, he did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
he absolutely did.
Well, I watched. I know that
my wife and I watched a great Carl Reiner film the other day. We watched The Jerk with Steve Martin. Oh my
God! Yeah.
The glasses.
I saw that on 2 hits of Purple Barrel Mescaline, and never laughed so hard in my life. When he looks straight into the camera and goes, "The cans are exploding," and his face was partially melting because the shit was hitting pretty good at that point. And again, I laughed till I damn near peed myself. I mean, that whole thing was Steve Martin at his absolute pinnacle. And just sort of being.
I'm gonna call you lifesaver because you saved lives. You should call dipshit or shithead or something like that.
I think I found my special purpose.
Right.
That was funny.
I was born a poor black child.
Yes. I was a poor black child. I found my
Bernadette Peters also has a great part in that movie. She's perfectly cast.
My favorite scene of hers in that is when she whips out the trumpet on the beach.
Oh God! Right. I wish I wasn't drinking when you had said that. I damn near sprayed my phone. Well, again, it was that kind of off the wall, sort of non sequitur kind of comedy. You just don't see it anymore. It doesn't exist. I mean, and it helps that Steve Martin is an artist, and he's a big fan of modern art.
Well, there was a concerted effort that Steve Martin put into that. So he came out at the same time. He worked on the political stuff. He worked on the political stuff on
Smothers
Brothers and stuff. So he concertedly made a choice to make it absurd comedy, because everybody was doing political stuff, and everybody was getting tired of it, and that's why he decided to do the white outfit, the weird offbeat stuff. But it also kind of fit into his whole artistic, his love of artists and his love of painting and philosophy. So it just fit right into it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong here. He was like one of the Jerk was like 1980, 79,
1979. I think it was 79. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But wasn't Steve Martin
put out his albums like in 76, 77, and 78?
Well,
wasn't he the first one to tour stadiums?
He got big with Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Which premiered in 1975. So all of his fame was in the late 70s.
I mean that
and by 1980s, he was a movie star. He didn't have to do those shitty concerts anymore.
No, he did King Tut.
I say shitty. He was selling out 20,000 seat arenas.
Arenas, right. Poor him. Geez. Probably didn't make a dime.
Well, he also basically said once he started having those big arenas, and he started to see that they started to not fill up the whole arena, he decided he was going to switch from being a comic to an actor. It was a concerted, a actual choice he made, because it was like he didn't feel it was intimate enough because of those stadium size. How do you have an intimacy in that sort of a theater or venue?
Now that's a decision that what's his name should have made, Andrew Dice Clay, because he was doing stadiums too.
Yeah,
right.
And the other guy was Dane Cook. Dane Cook was doing stadiums,
and his brother ripped him off mercilessly.
Who's that? Dane Cook?
Yes. Why he hasn't put a contract out on his brother? I mean, he's from Boston, so I'm sure he knows somebody. I'm serious. Dane Cook. I'm not a Dane Cook fan. But when I heard him talk about the crap that his brother pulled, and the 7 figures of money that just disappeared on his watch, it's like, I mean, I don't have to like a guy, but I can appreciate that he worked for his money. He deserved. I mean, he sold the records, he sold the CDs, he sold the seats. Should have been his money, and no, it absolutely vanished. And of course, at the same time, everyone caught on to the fact that Dane Cook isn't funny. And so now your money's gone, and the reason for that money to be generated is gone, except for a small clutch of hardcore fans, and now you're back to doing clubs again, and just grind it away like anybody else. And by the way, I would kill to be a club comedian getting hired on a weekend basis. If you think I wouldn't stab my closest relative in the chest with a knife to get to that point, you're wrong. I'd do it in a heartbeat, and it'd be like, hey, listen, it's a business decision.
That came out in the last 20 years after the comedy boom was over. And locally, I'm talking about like Cam Rowe and Andy Beningo and let me see if I can find Heather J, Melanie Hearn, all those people. When I see them doing these one night here, one night there, and I realize God blessed me by being born in 1960, because we would go into some place Tuesday or Wednesday and be there through Saturday or Sunday, and it was so easy to write. And you worked with 3 different people each week, so now you had new people to bounce shit off of. And one of the things I like to do with the dojo is, that's why we like to limit it to 6 each week, so that you can kind of rotate people in and out. And that was part of the deal, because every week that was our dojo, that you were working out with other comics, and you could bite it big time Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If you gave them the money, if you paid off on Friday and Saturday, or if Sunday, if that was the case, maybe. Everybody hated the Sunday night show because you just had maybe 3 on Friday, 3 on Saturday, where people were carrying you off on their shoulders. And then you had that Sunday crowd of sometimes 15 people,
Yeah. Do you remember the Holly Hotel? They had that strip club for Sunday night.
Who?
The Holly Hotel.
What did they have? The Flint Club. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the Flint. It was a strip club on the last night. Yeah.
Yeah, I worked that one time.
Mr. G's. Mr. G's.
I worked that with Gabe Kaplan. We walked in, and I had been there before, so I knew what I was getting into. But we walked in, he goes, Jesus, this looks like a strip club.
Well, the interesting thing is the strippers would come to see the show, so it was always the front row is filled with like beautiful women, and they're all like scantily clad. And it was just like, oh wow, this is bizarro, Well, I did it a couple times. The ones that I remember was who's the guy who had the kid show back in the '60s? Had the
Soupy
Sales. Yeah, I opened for Soupy Sales, and it was phenomenal. But he was also kind of old stuff, but he took advantage of the thing at Mr. G's. So he comes walking in with 2 of the strippers on his arms, and walks out.
I have a friend of mine who has a picture of Soupy with 2 Vegas-style showgirls that he sandwiched in between, and and that was a picture that Soupy signed and gave out, to my pal. That was his. So Mark, you must have been though right at the end, because there was that time when the comedian was the MC at the strip show.
I did
just
that.
Before the clubs.
Back in the late 70s, yes, I did. Sorry, I'm so sick. I'm so sick. I'm sorry.
What do you got?
It's that time of year, dude.
I've got COVID-23. I don't know. I got what I got is I'll talk about it some other time. Can't talk about it yet.
Okay. Well, I know I get it from just the pollen and the crap in the air this time of year.
Yeah, I've been cleaning out my bedroom, and I breathe in a whole lungful of dust, and I've been hacking it up for 4 days now.
Wow!
Oh, that's the worst.
I'm sure I've been asbestosized. Asbestosized. I've been asbestosized.
Yeah. Oh wow!
But
Well,
anyway,
it's like when you clean it up underneath my bed, and you run across a pair of old boots, and they still have the legs in them, and you're going, well, that's what the problem was. Okay.
So we had a guy in Detroit. Speaking of strip clubs and such and adult entertainment, we had a booker in Detroit when I started back in the late 70s, early 80s, Seymour Schwartz.
Oh, boy, I've heard that name.
And his wife, Hattie. Seymour and Hattie. I mean, not a more stereotypical Jewish couple would you meet. But he ran a quarter 25-cent operated video booths in bookstores and other such things. And when I started dating Susan, I already knew this guy, but she went to a show with me in one of his rooms. Hi, Sam.
Sam.
Susan went with me on a show to one of his rooms, and I introduced him. He goes, "What do you do?" And she was like, "Well, I'm a video editor." He goes, "Video editor? What is that?" And this because they were so running like 8mm in these booths and these adult stores. She goes, "Well, I take videotape and I edit it together." He goes, I'm sorry. I might have to beg out and let you guys finish this.
Oh dear.
But anyway, I just thought that was so funny. I go, you don't want her. She's going to edit a marriage scene into every one of your films. So don't.
Hey, can we get some vocal or some audio on Sam there? Yeah, we need to. We need to
test your audio, Sam. Can we hear you?
You hear us, Sam? Can't hear you.
Oh, he can't hear us.
No.
We're all coming in great. Let me give him a little.
Okay, everyone, bust out the semaphore flags so that we can communicate with Sam. Oh fuck! I got to work all night tonight, man. I can't believe. Oh my god! Can't wait for don't want to do this.
No, he looks fine. I mean, now he's begged himself out here.
Okay.
All right, now he's gone.
He's left.
Oh, here he's back now. Let me see if we get him now. Let me see what we get here. There he is.
Sam. Oh,
he's gone
again.
He's gone.
And he's gone. He's like that. It's like that episode of.
And no.
Like that episode of South Park.
South Park.
You ever seen that where they it's an episode on investing and savings accounts and stuff? Well, we take your money here, we pay interest, we put it in here, and it's gone.
It's gone.
No matter what they did to their money, it was gone. Here he is.
Okay, he's coming back.
He's gone.
Oh, we're so close. I don't know if he's on the iPad or if he's on his own phone.
No, sorry.
It's almost like the Captain Kirk trying to beam him aboard after the Tholian web.
Yeah. He's stuck in the space suit.
Right. Yes. And I don't know about you, Andy, but I know I was certainly frustrated when he keeps appearing, and I'm like, okay, lock on, beam him up. Now, go ahead, beam him up. And they're just like, no, not yet, not quite.
He's running out of oxygen, That's what I try when I use when I have the stool on my head doing Captain Kirk. That's the scene I'm doing.
Oh God! And no one knows these references anymore. These are the tropes of a dying generation.
No.
We're all going to be in the Angel of Death hospice care before too long. So that our benefactors don't want us to take too much time and money going out the door.
I'm trying to put in new guys and putting in Morty and Rick and Morty. So.
Well, I know that when I do more modern references, it only buttresses the reasons for me to be on an FBI watch list. I mean, it's gotten to that point, where it's like, oh, that's interesting. You should know those things. Why do you know those things? You shouldn't know that. Again,
how's your Trump impersonation, Andy?
What's that?
I said, how's your Trump impersonation?
It's not that good. It pretty much falls in everybody else's Trump lines, so it's not really everybody talks for me the same way. So I haven't really kind of worked on it. It's just too overused, I guess.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm working. If I could get an Obama, that would be great.
Well, but they're looking for a new chef. But
I know.
again, that joke died a miserable death last night.
It didn't fly too well. I don't think anybody knew that the cook had died. That's the problem.
Well, the thing is, people don't pay attention to anything anymore.
Well, there was a joke on Justified I thought was pretty funny.
What's that?
The original series. The two women were talking to each other, and they said, you heard the joke about Hillary and Bill Clinton? No. So the Bill Clinton and Hillary were wandering through Arkansas. They're at a gas station. They saw one of Hillary's old boyfriends, and Bill Clinton says, "Hey, you ever thought what your life would be like with that guy if you married him?" And she said, "Yes, he'd be the president of the United States."
Sam's back. Hey, Sam.
My volume is low.
Yo, gotcha, Sam. You're good.
We can hear you.
I can see. Oh, wow. He's got files.
He's just like the FBI. Got endless files.
Yeah. He's got files on everybody.
No doubt. Soon he's going to name names.
I fell asleep.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
I crashed. That's what happens when you go to your gastroenterologist and he goes, "Oh, come on, one more look."
Let's just take a look. Come on.
Come on, be a man.
Be a sport.
Trying to make a determination.
Don't show dread, spread.
Yeah, it's just like when I went to Jackson
I'm the
Prison.
Simone Biles of assholes.
Hey, I like that one. The Simone Biles of assholes.
Did you see what she did?
Yeah, she won the national championship again.
God almighty.
For the eighth time. The eighth time.
I can't do this anymore. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I can. Oh, man.
What is she?
Wait a minute. I can't do this anymore. And then 3 years later, come back and do it. That's the amazing thing.
Where's
the
volume?
does it again. Right.
Jason, where's the volume on this?
It's on the side. It's the two little rocker switches.
Oh, is it it's a mechanical button?
Got it.
There we go.
And you turn, the top one is up and the bottom one is down, and
there we go.
There you go.
Oh, by the way, they have a rule in and hi everybody. They have a rule in New York City that once you pass 70, you don't have to do jury duty. And evidently they're running short because I didn't get a notice for jury duty, but I got a thing to fill out for jury duty. Right. So this friend of mine said, "Oh, just throw it away." I went, "Are you insane? What you think they go, oh well, he called our bluff." No. No, they're going to come get you. Are you nuts? Right. And so I said to Barbara, I said, "Can you imagine if I was on the Trump jury?" Can you imagine?
Well, we're going to be using one of our preemptory challenges there. The angry old man in the front row who keeps making devil signs and
the one that says Trump sucks, the big one.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Your Honor, it's my favorite T-shirt.
Well, yeah, I would like to see that Trump jury because everybody in the world knows who he is.
If I wanted to get on that jury, I'd be saying something like, "Trump, that's what you play in cards, right? You play the Trump."
There you go.
If there's no chance I'm going to get a jury, but if I did, I would be so stone-faced when they do voir dire. I would be, do you have any brief against Mr. Trump? If I'm selected for this jury, I'm going to play it straight. Whatever he did. Sir, stop smirking. Please. You're smirking. Sir, why is your nose has gotten enormous.
Yeah. Yeah, he's trying to do whatever he can to spoil the jury pool, though. So,
well, I mean, the only jury they could get was from probably, it has to be in a territory. So the only jury could get was from Samoa, or from Puerto Rico, or Guam. They would not know who he was.
So, actually, I think you're wrong. I think they do.
Oh,
I think they do. I think if you're in a territory, I think you do.
Got it.
How would you like to try to find an attorney where every attorney knows that you don't pay your attorneys?
Yeah.
I'm under the impression that some of the attorneys he has now got it up front.
Oh.
No, that could be, yeah.
Because he keeps talking about millions of dollars in legal fees. Of course,
Well,
he made lying. But,
he made millions on the mugshot. He released that to a T-shirt and made
he made
$7 million
in one day.
I love it.
You know, well, at least it's going to American lawyers, because those idiots that give Trump money would be spending it on meth from Mexico anyway. So at least we're keeping it circulating in our economy.
Well, that'll be his jury pool, the meth heads. There we go.
By the way, under the category of, well, you can't blame me for trying. Can we have this trial delayed until 2026?
Oh, that's funny.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
That is funny. Well, you know
how
why?
about 12th of never? How about that?
You know why they came up with March of 2026, don't you?
No.
That's the same amount of time from January 20th, 2021 that it took them to come up with the chart to indict him. So they figured, well, since it took that many months for them to indict me, why don't we just extend it that many months? That's how they came up with that figure.
And under the category of, yes, I'm a liberal, but that has nothing to do with the fact this guy's a moron. Jim Jordan. Well, I'm conducting my investigation. You have no authority. I mean, none. I don't care what nothing. It's just, go ahead.
Do you guys remember Mike Larson, Andy and Sam?
Yeah.
Oh. He ran again. He ran for his seat last time in 2020. He ran for Jim Jordan's seat in 2020. He didn't even win. He didn't get out of the primary, the Democratic primary, but he did run for his seat. I would have loved to have seen that.
The thing about Jordan is he's gerrymandered unto death. I mean, that's why he keeps winning.
Yeah, but you know, all the cases where they gerrymandered, Michigan was the first one. We got ungerrymandered. Now we have a Democratic governor.
Yeah, which is why the Republicans should have never let that on the ballot. It's their own damn fault.
Too bad.
Absolutely.
But what about Ohio? I mean, he's in Ohio.
Yeah.
I don't think he can be ungerrymandered in Ohio.
Yeah, but the thing is, Ohio's got it coming though, because Ohio is famous for, we didn't like what the voters said about having a independent committee come up with the districts. So we're going to ignore that and pass our own rule because we're Republicans and we want to stay in charge. They didn't say it that way, but that's pretty much what they did.
But that's what they did.
That's Ohio Republicans. It's nothing surprising.
They tried the same thing. They tried the same thing in Mississippi and Alabama. Alabama was the first one. They said, nope, gerrymandered, you got to redraw the districts. And the thing is, Mississippi got caught on their heels because Mississippi was saying, we're not gonna do any work. We're gonna just follow the order from in Alabama.
Coming from the Democrat Party.
Trump had put enough federal judges out there that the Alabama thing was going to stick. And when the judges said, nope, you got to redraw the districts, while Mississippi was going, we're the same as Alabama. We're the same as Alabama. As soon as Alabama lost, they go, we're completely different than Alabama.
Well, let's not forget how fair it is in the Democrat Party, where Bernie Sanders not once but twice had the inside track to the nomination, and suddenly, somehow, some way, well, oops, sorry about that, Bern. No, I don't think so. And by the way, Bernie is talking about running again.
Hey, you know what? Hey, you know what?
Rumors.
Hey, Jason, you want to run for the Democratic nomination? Become a Democrat. You're not going to win it if you're not a Democrat.
Mark, I agree with you. I am on your side. Nevertheless, Bernie was winning the delegates, and it was that witch from Miami that I can't stand, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who fucked him out of it in 2016. And as for the last time around, the Democrat Party got together and they said it's going to be Biden. Everyone else go home.
Yeah, they didn't say that.
They did the same thing with W. They did the same. The Republicans did the same thing with W. When he ran, everybody was told, "Look, he's got the money, he's got the connections. Go
if that's
home.
if that's what the party did,
Please don't say W. It gives me a hangover. It makes my head hurt.
You never get if the Democratic Party did that, like the Republicans have done for years. If the Democrats did that, we would never have Obama as.
It's the Republic. That's the way the Republicans have always nominated. I mean, going back to '68. Remember which was the last time there was it. Jesus Christ, what are we talking? 1968. I mean, we are old. Jesus Christ. But Nixon, remember in the Miami convention, I think in '68, it was the opposite of the Chicago convention.
I remember 54-40 or fights, so don't fuck with me.
Like I saw Abby Hoffman over at the Wharton Center before he committed suicide.
Yeah. Did he kill himself?
I think so. Yes.
But my mother saw Abby Hoffman when my mother was a waitress at the Washington Hilton, and she comes up to him. This only my mother. I said, "You met Abby Hoffman? What did you do?" She said, "Well, you wouldn't understand." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, we spoke Yiddish to each other for 20 minutes."
Oh, that's great.
You're right.
And so I said, well, I speak English, so why don't you tell me what you said? It was nothing political. I asked him, why does a man your age have hair that long?
Yeah.
I have a Yiddish reference that I learned this week.
All right.
Not any Yiddish, but here's what I found out. James Cagney, an Irish American, spoke flawless Yiddish.
Fluent Yiddish. Fluent.
Well, did he come out of New York?
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes. Fluent. I should say fluent.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He grew up in a Jewish neighborhood, and I guess somebody said it helped him in Hollywood quite a bit because when he got to Hollywood.
Jew in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Hold on, I got the safety belt on. Say that again. Okay.
Well, Abby Hoffman said he was asked the question of how do you think what's the difference between the Republican and Democratic Party? And he goes, well,
there is none.
In the Democratic Party, in the Republican Party, it's the right of kings. It comes from God. It goes to one guy, and everybody worships that guy, and he's the guy. It's not a fight. When you go to the Democratic Party, if you raise your hand, you're a party. You know what I'm saying? It's like anybody that can stand up and raise their hand, they're a party. You know, there's no organization.
I am grateful for Trump for cutting the head off the Bush family when they tried to put their autistic younger former governor of Florida kid in. They gave $120 million. They had Mike Murphy, one of the top operators in the Republican system, and they got like 12 votes in the convention. And it's good because there should be some sort of an amendment that says a member of the Bush family doesn't get to be president again for 1,000 fucking years. Just me. That's just the way I feel about it, and mainly.
What about George P. Bush?
I don't know anything about
it.
I'm so tired of the Bush
from
family.
Texas.
Let's go back to the Yiddish stuff.
George P. Bush was the guy who.
He's the grandson.
Right? I think he's a congressman now, and he was the one who got drunk and drove around his ex-girlfriend's family's estate in his car doing wheelies in the mud.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Are you sure he's not from Michigan?
He's our guy. Yeah. I mean.
By the way, when everybody talks about somebody getting away with something, when George Herbert Walker Bush talked about his grandkids and said the little brown ones. Oh, I
remember that.
God. And then when he was called on it, not only did he take umbrage, he defended it. He went, my blood runs through their veins.
Yeah.
Is it brown blood?
Well,
what are you talking about?
He comes from you know the generation he comes from, and right now I'm going through Halberstein's Best and Brightest, and
I read that book. Isn't it wonderful?
It is an amazing book, and when he's going through how the sort of northeastern intelligentsia, McGeorge Bundy, and now they all go to the same schools. Groton or Choate, they all go to Harvard, Yale, or Princeton. They all know each other.
Andover,
it doesn't matter which party they belong to. I mean, it does a little bit, but not. They all know each other.
Not a lot.
They're all part of the same club. You know, I mean, some of them.
And you ain't in it.
And I am not in it. And
those of you, go ahead. I'm sorry, please.
And I want to ask you, Democrats, if RFK Jr. just in a bizarro alternate universe were to get the nod, would you support him? I mean, he is a Democrat.
if he gets the nod, I'd be in the history books.
Oh.
4.
Ooh.
4.
Ooh. Now the question is, would we say we knew Sam? Would we?
Is that Sam Arthur?
Not if you
Bremer,
wanted a job reference with the government.
But
for those of you who don't know, The Best and the Brightest, written by David Halberstam.
Fantastic book.
And this is how he frames the book. Okay, this is, how did we get into Vietnam?
Yeah. Why
did we get into Vietnam? And what was the upshot of us? But the beginning of the book is mesmerizing, because in the beginning of the book, I forget who it was. Oh, it was Kennedy, John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
He went to someone who Halberstam did not name, if I'm correct, did not name. And he asked him, help me pick my cabinet.
Yes.
And so the guy said, well, I go for Cherrywood. No, he said, and he recommended, recommended Dean Rusk. He recommended C. Douglas Dillon for Treasury.
Yep.
And McNamara for Defense. He picked his cabinet for him.
Right. It was one of he does mention the guy. He does name him, and this is guy. He's old Washington elite. You know, he's been a part of.
He's like Averell Harriman. If I had to guess, I would say it was Averell Harriman.
It was, and I mean, just like you had Clark Clifford, one of these guys.
One of those guys.
And what I would give to have a Clark Clifford now. What I would give to have a couple of Clark.
An Averell Harriman now.
And Averell, I mean, whose nickname was the Crocodile.
That's right.
They say, and Averell could be kind of difficult, but they said, you know what? You give him a job, he'd do it, and he threw the best parties in Washington.
And his wife threw his wife threw the best humps. I understand.
Oh, she was the leading call girl or a courtesan.
No, she wasn't a call girl. But her nickname was Spread and Ready. That's all I know.
Yes. Well, to be fair, it was a time when women kind of
did that.
They didn't kiss and tell. They, and she ended up getting. Didn't she also become an ambassador, or was she?
Yes, she did.
Yes, Pamela Harriman.
But it was to the Playboy Mansion.
So, well, are you telling me you're not booking passage? Is that? Yeah, I mean, come on.
I told you I went to the Playboy Mansion, and it's one of the few times in my life where I said, I don't feel like I'm going to get hurt here, but I'm scared. I'm when a woman who looks like someone who would never, ever come on to you, ever walks up to you and goes, hi, would you like to go for a walk? And you answer in your normal smooth way of hamana, 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 hamana.
Yes, yeah. Can we?
I hope that's my hand you're holding. Hi. Ma, you're awfully tall, huh? Oh God, you know who was there that night? I'm trying to think. Cosby.
Was passing out drinks?
No. If he did that there, he'd never get back in.
Yeah. Who was another one who? Oh God, there was somebody else who was. Not Rob. I was thinking Robert Culp, but that's not who I'm thinking of. Who just absolutely lived there? I know James Caan lived there for a long time. You'd go to the Playboy Mansion on any given night. James Caan was there.
My favorite story about the Playboy Mansion, and this is one of these things, I don't know if it's true. What was that thing that Bill Maher said? I don't know if it's true, but I think it was, or I believe it was. He said that the story goes that Sammy Davis Jr., who is rumored to be bisexual, was walking by one of the rooms in the Playboy Mansion.
Yes.
And he sees this girl going down on this guy. And he walks up to the girl and goes, hey, babe, mind if I groove on that thing for a moment?
According to Linda Lovelace, he went down. She had him go down on Chuck a couple times, and
Chuck Trainer.
Apparently they were watching one of Linda's films all together, and she was servicing Sammy, and she reached over and unzipped Chuck, and she said Chuck just looked straight ahead with this sort of stone-faced
sense
look
of
on his
shame
face.
And yet wonderment.
and then Sammy did his thing, but he was also rumored to be a member of the Church of Satan. I don't know if he was or not. There is a picture of him with Anton LaVey, but there's lots of pictures with Anton LaVey and other people. So, I mean, you know, Jane
Gloria
Mansfield
Steinem wrote a book about not about her time as a Playboy bunny, but she wrote a book, and in the book she interviewed not Linda Lovelace, the other one, who is in Behind the Green Door.
Marilyn Chambers.
Thank you. Yes, Marilyn Chambers.
Yes.
And she was also a person run by
Chuck
Trainer. And so,
see, guys, I'm not the only one who knows about porn.
And so, well, I've only heard. And so,
Yes. I've been told.
So Pamela, what's her name? Marilyn Chambers,
yes,
asked Trainer a question, and he says, "Shut up."
Wow.
And Gloria Steinem says, well, "You didn't have to tell her to shut up." And Trainer said, "I don't tell you how to write your column. Don't tell me how to run my broads."
Wow.
God.
And she said, "But I don't write a column, you Neanderthal fuck." No, I'm kidding.
See,
by
but
the way,
never...
under the category of idiot,
yes.
what's his name? That idiot, that fool, Cornel West.
Yes.
He's saying the Democratic machine is what got Biden in, and everybody knows it. And when I become president, hold for laughter. Yes. And now, you know, if he becomes president and JFK and RFK Jr. is the vice president,
yes,
I'll see you in Winnipeg.
Is that after you've made your escape, or?
Well, yeah, yes, it certainly is. And I will be asking for immigrant status because, see, I can take a lot of things, but I can't take that level of ego and stupidity.
Well, you've got to know Cornel West is being funded by members of the Trump team, right? I mean, you have to know that's probably coming in through donations, third and fourth removed.
I don't doubt that that's true, but if that's true, he has killed himself politically because it'll be found out. He will. Do
you think it bothers Cornel West at this point?
Huh?
I mean, do you think it really bothers Cornel West at this point? You know, he'll make some money off it.
The reason it should bother him is not because, people don't like me. It's because doors that were normally open to him are now closed forever.
Oh, that's shut like a bank vault.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. That's what would bother him.
I mean, when was the last time?
Democratic enclave, any kind of liberal, gone.
When was the last time Ralph Nader showed up at the?
You're not welcome, huh?
Yeah, I said, when was the last time Ralph Nader showed up at a Democrat convention?
I almost got thrown out of a restaurant in D.C. called Poets and Authors.
Yeah.
Nader was there. This is after the 2000 election.
You know, he cost Gore the election.
Oh, absolutely, he did.
Yeah.
Absolutely, he did. In Florida alone, 96,000 votes. But somebody was yelling at him, "Hey, listen, there's no hookers here. Is there anyone else you want to screw?" Okay, it was me. It was me. I was yelling it. And normally, if Barbara says to me, "Don't do that," I don't do that. But when she said, "Why don't you keep it down?" I said, "No, I'm not keeping it down. I'm going to keep yelling like this until they throw me out. And as they throw me out, I'm going to call them a cocksucker." Okay, so you can move away from this table, and I can understand that you think he's a complete embarrassment, but he gave us George W. Bush. So I'm going to keep yelling. I'm going to keep yelling. Why do people? This is my eternal question. Why do you run if you know you can't win?
And why
do you run? We know the answer. It's ego. But why do you run if you know you cannot win?
And George gave us not one, but a 20-year war in Afghanistan and Iraq?
Right.
Thank you very much, George. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, we've done our hour, boys. Stick around, you guys, afterwards.
Sorry I was late to the party.
That's all right. That's fine. We get it. It happened.
I fell asleep.
We were talking shit about you, though. I mean, it was terrible.
I hope if you talk shit about me, I'm devastated.
All right. Well, I have to do this because I got to get this. All right. That's the end of our show for tonight. We're here every Monday night at 8 o'clock. If we're not here Monday night, look for an announcement. It'll probably be a holiday. But most Monday nights, 8 o'clock. That's our regular time. The off night. It's a night for comics to gather together. If you know nobody that's a comic, if you'd like to be a comic, and you haven't seen all the information that I put on the page here, go ahead and contact me. We'll get you on the show. It's a lot of fun. We talk about the old times, today times, any times. We're Gabmeister. What can I say? Anyway, we'll be back next week. Stick around, fellas, after the show. We will chat. And now it's time to go. Good night, everybody.